Hello guys, my name is Cornalysis, and today I want to help everyone who's new to the team type CS and just want to improve. I want to help you explain what is the default. First and foremost, default is not getting picks, it's getting space, and that should always be a priority, because if you have space you add pressure, and if you add pressure you make enemies make mistakes. So that's the easiest way to explain it, and I think a very fast way to explain it as well. So how can you make defaults work more effectively? So understand what the enemy wants to do to you on any map, and what do you want to do. So for most part on Ancient, cities would always want to take a peek, or for most part want to contest B lane, because if you don't have B lane you can't go B unless you go through mid. And also cities will always try to contest mid with a lot of early utility, and then deny you that as well. So by knowing that, you can immediately come up with some conclusions on, okay, how can I eliminate some factors? Let's say the default utility, because defaults also should have default utility that you throw every round for various reasons. So for example, if you always throw insta red smoke, and or you do what I call liquid smoke, or just like close up mid smoke, then you should always throw it, because if you don't, you leave them thinking that you're doing something different this round, and they might stack on you or might look for a gap. So you should always repeat your default utility even if you're not doing a default, and that should be always accounted for. That's the easiest way to think about it, because as soon as I see there's no red smoke but always there was a red smoke, I'm thinking you guys are executing something, or you guys are doing just something completely different, and maybe guys are not even going mid, what you usually did on your default. So that's one way to think for yourself, and always keep in mind it helps for both parties, I guess. If you're playing against someone in a scrim and you see them just changing up util all the time, and you can just predict plays that way, if that makes sense. To help you understand what default utility is eliminating some factors to help you establish your default positions. So if the default revolves around getting cave, you might want to have a heaven smoke at the early round, and you guys have two maybe setting up for cave, and you just try to get cave from them. You can throw different lineups for different nades, but usually you just want to consider that. And then your mid guy has a responsibility of coming out mid and mulling boxes, so that the guys, well, not like that, so that the guys who are actually fighting for heaven are not getting peeked from cat or from mid boxes, right? So there's definitely a lot of things to consider. I mean, not a lot of things to consider, but there's things to consider just to eliminate. Also, ramp push early, you might want to eliminate that by trying early molly. That went a bit too deep. Just to eliminate some factors from your own game, and just to establish your default. As always, smoking red instantly just denies. For example, if the Oper wants to go mid, you just deny him this, and you either force him to rotate somewhere else, or just to use his nade, or find a different position, which immediately allows you to do a bit more. So default utility should be discussed with the team, depending on what your goals are. If you want to just play for mid retake, or cook something on A at the start of a round, just to drag pressure from mid, and then you transition into mid take, or it doesn't matter what you guys have discussed, as long as there is some sort of a plan. That's what you need to work for. And yeah, if you consider all of those elements together, you should have much more easier time to understand how you should default, how you should think about a default, how you should respond to someone's default, and as well as knowing how to not make simple mistakes when you're doing your own default or creating your own default.